7 years. 7 years it took me to get back down to Patagonia. You have a lot of time, you can do the trail solo. Down to Chilean Patagonia specifically. Breathing heavy, just took the shortcut. To hike in Torresdelpaine for a second time. So 6.5 hours total trip. Going from El Calafate to Puerto Natales in Chile. Out onto the glacier. Quite a view from the top of the Mirador here. The first time was after teaching English in Chile. I went down with a large group and we did the W circuit. And that was really when I was more of a novice hiker. This time after living in Colorado and hiking in the Swiss Alps, I was back down to South America for another time for a friend's wedding in Argentina. I was like, you know what? Why not go back down there and hike the O circuit this time? It's exactly what I set out to do. So basically went online to PatagoniaBooking.com, an easier website to book it all together, booked last minute for a 6-night, 7-day adventure, and started in the beginning of the early season, November 1st, which is the earliest you could start in the season down there in Torresdelpaine National Park to hike the O circuit. If you want to hike the W, you can start earlier. And today's video, we're going to bring you along on my journey, the step-by-step through the route, what it was like, and starting in Puerto Natales, where I got all my gear, got my food, and prepped to head to the park. All right, so I just got here in the Hostel Puma house here in Puerto Natales, Chile. This is where I am sleeping here tonight. And yeah, just basically today's Saturday. On Tuesday, going to the park, Torresdelpaine, to do the trekking. So basically giving myself half day today, all day Sunday, all day Monday, to figure out what I'm gonna do for my rental equipment, for my tent, sleeping bag, cooking materials, and stuff like that. All right, so it's the day before heading into the park, Torresdelpaine here in Chile, and just running around and trying to figure out where I'm gonna get my gear. This is what we got over here on the bed. And so far we've gotten most of the stuff in it, but this is taking a little while. And then we're gonna strap the tent, sleeping bag, sleeping pad, which is right below me here. Still need to go pick up the tent, but those things will all go on the outside as well as the cooking stuff. So making this work. All right, leaving Puma house right behind me there. And here we go. Just about 6:30 here in the morning on a Tuesday. Got the pack all loaded out. All right, so we made it. Sign behind me, Bienvenidos, Torresdelpaine Parque. And the check-in is just above me up there. You got to show your QR code for the park ticket. And now I'm gonna jump back the bus behind me here and go grab my pack and then get on the transport over towards, I think it's Las Torres, I believe, that location there. And then we're gonna start walking, start trekking towards Campamento Cerrón. All right, here we go. We just took the little shuttle bus for 3,000 pesos Chileno from Laguna Amarga, which is where the big bus Soar dropped us off, over to Las Torres, Campamento here. And the Torres are in front of us there, and now starts the hike, walking on 2 feet over to Campamento Cerrón for sleeping tonight. And here's the going circus on my back with all the stuff. Hanging off the back is the cookware and hiking poles, as y'all can see right here from the Trail Buddy. I got the Atlas Athlete pack, carrying it all. So let's go. We're at Centro. Yeah, I was saying Hotel Torres in the video here. But right now, here, going there tonight. What hike you doing, Amma?
W, I'm naming W.
There you go. And DJ?
You're doing the O.
We're doing the O.
Yeah.
All right, that's where we part ways. Enjoy. Yeah, it's just about an hour into hiking here, and it is wet. A lot of runoff here, early seasons. November 1st, specifically the first day you're allowed to do the U or the O here in Torresdelpaine in Patagonia. And testing out these shoes here. These Salamers are getting quite wet already. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Alrighty, so here we come to another water crossing. Trying to figure out how to avoid walking straight through this. Right here. Here we are about 3 hours into our trek here on day 1. Heading towards Cerrón Campamento, and it started at 9:30. It's about 12:30 right now. We've got these views of the lakes, the mountains behind us here, and yeah, it's been a slog, especially with having so much weight on here. Definitely new for me, doing more of these multi-day treks with a lot of weight, all the things you need. And then today's walk's been pretty nice. A lot of lagunas, a lot of lakes, a lot of rivers. Some snow-covered peaks here in the distance. So finally arrived at campsite Cerrón. That's where we'll be staying for the first night of my 6-night, 7-day trip for the OCIRCUIT in Torresdelpaine, Chile. We finally got there, and we were one of the earlier people there, my German friend. And we went inside, and we signed in. You basically let them know you're there, and then you go pick a spot here for your campsite. Unfortunately, that night my phone was maxed out. I think it died in the battery, so I didn't record anything during the mess hall area and all that. It was pretty basic. You're the main area where you kind of signed in. You can grab some food and drink there, like a few snacks, some drinks, nothing crazy. And then you basically have like a big tent where you can kind of cook, have your cooking stove stuff. They had one bathroom there, which you'll see the photo here. There's literally a male shower and a female shower. That was it. And then they had like a little slop sink behind the main building where you can kind of rinse your cutlery, stuff like that. Or I use kind of clean my hands for my contacts. Overall, it was pretty basic, but it was good enough for night one on the OCIRCUIT.
All right. Leaving Campamento Cerrón and starting day 2. Headed towards Dixon, and we're thinking maybe approximately 6 hours, but yesterday that was a similar time frame, about 5. We've been in 3.5, so maybe faster, but we're here to enjoy the nature, hopefully see some animals, and just enjoy the trek. Push up here up this hill above the lakes, Campamento Cerrón. Back over that way to my left. And yeah, I'd say this is the first hard kind of hill today, although there's pack weight on. Here we go, about 2 hours in here. And we've been passing some small waterfalls, and then out to my right here, we've still got the beautiful lake, which is really cool. And these views ahead of us here are amazing with the mountains snow covered, which is definitely a benefit of coming here in the early seasons. Again, starting the OO as early as we could, November 1st. So you get the treat of less people and you get these snow covered peaks, which has been great. This is why we hike, people. I'll say it again and again. This is why I hike. Leave a comment down below why you hike. Hey, yeah, so carrying the Atlas at the fleet pack on my back here. Probably meant for day hikes, I would assume, and or like loading that kind of half camera gear, half hiking stuff. Seeing that probably about 2 hours in, I'm feeling the weight in the back. Definitely cinching the straps along the waist for sure, as well as on the chest here and across the chest. But yeah, so we'll see how it goes as the body adapts over the coming days here. So we're a little over 4 hours here into our hike today, and the sign we just passed, the Conaf sign, just said about 3 kilometers more to Dixon, Campamento Dixon. Yeah, pack weight is definitely proving to be a strong force. My body's feeling it, so looking forward to getting there, set up the camp, maybe a quick shower, rest, and get some snack in and hang out with everybody. So here we go, we're gonna push, maybe take a short break coming up here, and then we'll be there shortly. So let's go. Just on the other side of the lake, right here, is the Campamento Dixon for night 2. This is Patagonia. Pretty cool. Campamento Italiano. All right, night 2, Torresdelpaine. And here comes Sergio. Time for a quick break and then the final push. Mountain views is what we're gonna have this evening, so I'm so pumped, because if you guys watch a bunch of my videos before, you know how much I love chasing peaks and also getting great views of peaks. Quick review here as I get into the camp up here ahead on day 2 of hiking the O here to Campamento Dixon, which is where we're arriving tonight, against the lago, or along the lago and right below the mountains. And today was a slog, and it said you should take you 6 hours. Gonna be just under that, so I thought I would beat that, as in yesterday we came in a lot under the posted sign, but for all this weight behind me, still carrying a good amount of food and other things. So yeah, it's gonna take the time it says on the sign. So note that if you're gonna do the OO here in Torresdelpaine in Chile, probably in day 2 it might take you 6 hours unless you have less weight, or maybe you're a faster hiker than me. Looking forward to setting up the tent, having some coffee, maybe a good snack for lunch, taking a shower, much needed, and then just hanging out with the other people I've met so far. met Jörg from Germany. Does a little hiking, as well as been hiking today a lot with Sergio from Chile. So yeah, it's been fun, and met a bunch of other people, a lot of other Germans, some of the Chileans, some of the people from the States. A lot of people you meet, sometimes you forget the names, but everybody's in good spirits, and you definitely do make friends in the O, even if you're hiking solo like I am today. All right, here we go. Time to go set everything up and get a little cozy.
Campsite night 2, Dixon. This was a beautiful spot. As you can see in the footage here, there were snow-covered peaks in the background right next to the lake, and it was a good amount of open space. There was horses as well, and there was also an area where we stayed with a bigger mess hall here with our tents, and the people who paid a lot more money got to stay in another building across the way where I heard they had like full dinners for them and stuff like that. But overall, what you could expect in the amenities is this. When we got in there, this one, they actually wanted to make sure that we can show them our little piece of paper that you get when you came into Chile. So to show my passport and that, as well as you can pay with credit card or cash when you're in there. This location, Dixon, had a lot more to offer as far as the food and drinks. You can buy some fast meals, stuff like that, some stuff you could add water to. There was more shower facilities, and there was a bigger mess hall. And then the plug points, which I assume they've updated by now, weren't many. So getting there earlier helped if you could plug in your stuff to kind of charge your phone or your power bank or whatever. But that's what you're looking like for night 2.
Day 3, leaving Dixon Campamento here and headed to Los Perros. Should be a shorter day today, which is pretty good. I think 4 hours overall. But yeah, I really enjoyed here. Got the beautiful mountains above us, behind me, the Chilean and Magallanes flags. So definitely a nice treat for the second night stay. And now onward we go. Let's do it. So checking in here on day 3. Little ways in today's hike. We've already got a bunch of good viewpoints, snow-covered peaks over the lake, a nice river kind of rushing by us right over here, and we are on our way to Los Perros. We got to go over a big tree branch. Oh, there we go. Assessing on day 3 here is it's a nice combo. You really do meet a lot of people on this trek. And because it's your famous trek, you will meet people. So if you really want isolation and solitude, you probably shouldn't pick here on the U and Torresdelpaine in Chile. But if you do, it is great. So you have a lot of time. You can do the trail solo, but really there's somebody 30 meters ahead of you or 30 meters behind you, and or you make a lot of cool friends from all over the world. And that's what the German guy I've been hiking with, we're just talking about. You meet people from Europe, you meet people from South America, people from the States or North America, all over. There was a guy from Israel on the first night. So yeah, it really mixes it up. So you're not alone here in the wilderness, but you can be if you want to. So that's one of the benefits here, the pros of hiking the U here in Torresdelpaine in Chilean Patagonia. So come check it out. This is on some angle, not just the camera angle here. Look at that glacier.
So for night 3, we'd arrive at Los Perros, and that would be the most remote location you were gonna be on the O circuit during these 6 nights. It was pretty cool because we passed a big lake with a glacier above. As you got further out into the forest where the campsite was, you can see here. This kind of hut, if you will, or refugio, was, I'd probably say, not as barren as night 1 in Cerrón, but not as much stuff as night 2 in Dixon. So Los Perros basically had similar bathroom facilities to night 2 in Dixon, had some snacks and drinks and stuff like that or whatever, and then you basically found a spot in the forest there with a little creek nearby, so it's nice ambiance to plant your spot. And everybody really wanted to get to sleep early that night because the next morning would be the John Gardner Pass, the really big push. And especially in this early season, I was pumped for it because you were gonna have snow. So that was kind of a really special night because we were the most remote, and the next morning going to John Gardner Pass would be a big deal. That night before going to bed, we got a few Patagonia beers, kind of hung out, talked to some other foreigners, people from the States as well, and then got to bed early for that early rise the next morning.
All right, so today's day 4, headed from Los Perros here over to Campamento Gray. Today's gonna be a big push. We're going over the John Gardner Pass, and a lot of people were up early this morning. I planned to get up at 4:30, slept through that alarm clock, heard people moving their zippers at like 5:05, about 6:30 now, and yeah, it's a long push. It's supposed to take about 9 to 12 hours, so we'll see. I'm gonna shoot for 10 which would mean about 4:30. So here we go.
Hey everyone, if you're really enjoying this video so far and finding value, I'd love you to hit the like button as well as subscribe to support the Don't Explore channel here. And also if you think one of your friends might get value of this, definitely send it off to them. Maybe you're trying to persuade them to come with you to hike in Chilean Patagonia, the O-Circuit. If you want to send them my way, I'll help kind of persuade them as well. And now, let's get back to the video.
Here we go, here starts the lineup of people going up the pass. Breathing heavy, just took the shortcut. You see people right over my range back there. Came down from there, up the snow, kind of cut across some other footsteps, using the poles right here, trail buddy, and just up there, much further, is the orange pole marking the trail. All right, here we go. As always, onward and upward. Look at this glacier here. So cool. Just cruising through the woods here. We all came down past the glacier. It was so cool. And I just remembered, I wasn't sure what night I had what booked. Booked late, mind you, so in Cerón and Dixon and Peros, I had to set up my tent. So then for night 4 here in Campamento Gray, I actually have a bunk bed, so I don't need to set it up, which is great. After a long day today, 9 to 10 hours, it'd be great on the body. And then I'll be easier start in the morning because tomorrow I gotta go from Gray all the way past Francis and I think it's by Tayano right there to Cuernos, which is supposed to be 31 kilometers. It's almost like finding a change in your laundry when you realize that you got a nice little bed to sleep in tonight. So I think we got about 5.5 hours more to go. 5.5 to 6.5, we'll see. But Campamento Paso, I believe, is closed. So yeah, I've been pushing it. Pretty tired, but I think I was saying it's only 3.5. Getting on 4 hours in here, passing Campamento Paso, moving on to Campamento Gray, which is where we join all the trekkers on the W or the W. So it's not just all of us who have been moving campsite to campsite for the first couple days here on the U in Torresdelpaine. It's also going to be everybody starting fresh at Gray, or possibly those who had started at Centro doing the W the other way. So probably going to be busy.
Going out onto the glacier, which, yeah, for me, it's the first time seeing that, which is really freaking cool. That's what I realized down here. You have so many glaciers, chunks fall off, waterfalls, cascades coming from them, and a lot of lagunas down below. The cycle of ecosystem, I guess you could say. But so cool to see so many here in person, in Torresdelpaine, in Chilean Patagonia. So fun day here on day 4. Gonna keep pushing forward, trying to make good time today to Campamento Gray. Here we go, crossing the big suspension bridge here.
That's a far way down, bro. Ho-ho! Feels pretty safe. Boards are about 2 inches apart. Pretty balanced. Not going side to side too much. But if you start moving too fast, it definitely starts bouncing. Here we are, just asked somebody on the trail how far to Refugio Gray. They said about 20 minutos, so 20 minutes. And this is bridge number 3, or Puente, I think it is, so Puente number 3. So here we go. If you're doing the U and you like going across suspension bridges like this one right here, you'll have a ton of fun as you get towards Refugio Gray.
All right, so arriving in the Gray campsite. This is way different than when I was there in 2015. When I was there in 2015, I don't actually remember much more than a small little kind of hut, similar to what you had at the first night at Cerón, and that was pretty much it, and we camped in the field. But this time they had that, and they also had like a bigger built out house with a restaurant and bunk beds.
All right, just coming up to the first building when I got here, but apparently that's all campsite check-in only. So now the building down here, the bigger one is actually for the bunk beds, which is where I have today. So tonight's a bunk bed after the long day, 7 hours about trekking with the backpack on. So here we go, gonna go check into the bunk room. All right, so just got here to my bunk bed in Campsite Gray, and we're sleeping right here tonight, which will be really nice after the 7-hour hike with the pack on my back right over there. Gonna go shower, gonna go use the bathroom, gonna probably get some food, some lunch. It's about 1:30ish, 1:45 p.m. now. Really happy to have gotten here a lot earlier, to have the afternoon to relax, get rehydrated, get some food in the body, talk to some people, hang out.
So after I got settled in my room, I went next door to the bar area and I ordered myself a cheeseburger. It wasn't the best cheeseburger in the world, but it tasted so good. after pushing over these last couple of days through the beginning parts of the O circuit. After that, I moved across the way to where everybody was hanging out by like the bunkhouse area for the people pitching the tent, because during the first couple nights and days, I had forged a bunch of good, cool micro relationships with different people from all over the world. Whether it was Sergio from Chile, or my German buddy, or some people from the States. So I popped over there, we had some Patagonia beers, hung out for a bit. So we moved over to the bar, we got a pizza to split, and we had some wine, some Chilean wine.
Paine pouring the wine.
Hung out for a bit, some good laughs, and then the next morning I'd be headed out by myself.
So leaving the bunk bed right there, rooms here at Refugio Gray, headed out this morning on day 5. Leaving a little bit later, taking it easy if you will, got up early, had a coffee, leaving at 8 a.m. and heading to Campamento Cuernos. So it's gonna be a big day today. I think about 14 miles, about 31 kilometers, something about that. The map says it's taking me about 7 hours, so here we go, let's get moving. And yeah, one of the sad things is that because of booking a little bit later and choosing to move a little bit faster, I am leaving the people who I was kind of camping each night with and moving along on the O circuit to Cerrón, to Dixon, to Perros, and to here at Campamento Gray. Now I'm jumping ahead all the way to Cuernos, where most people are going to Paine Grande tonight. And then after that, either Francis or Cuernos, and then Chileno, the Torres, and then leaving the park. And here we go. Starting the morning solo, and I'm sure I'll meet some people on this part of the U, which is where we're joining the W from Campamento Gray going towards Chileno. Yeah, just a little trail thought to all of you out there thinking about doing this solo or maybe in a pair. Doing the U here in Torresdelpaine National Park in Chile for basically, it could be 6 nights, 7 days like me, or 7 nights, 8 days, or a little bit, maybe 8 nights, 9 if you want to push it longer. Gives you time in nature, disconnected from society, and especially if you do it solo like I am doing. Great amount of time to reflect, be out here in nature with these beautiful peaks, beautiful lake and glacier right there behind us over there. And yeah, just maybe reset on life, especially if you're like kind of hectic out there, whatever you do for work or family life, stuff changes. It's great to get out in nature, have some time alone to think on these long days, maybe 5, 6, 7 hours on trail, just kind of doing over the streams, over the rocks, seeing the waterfall, seeing the glaciers. It almost kind of makes you feel reborn or something. I'm not very religious, but I do think there's something to spirituality and trying to kind of reset yourself to be a good person. And I think nature can help us get back to that place where we're more grounded. So
during day 5 here, on my longest leg of the journey to Cuernos, I was skipping by another campsite, realized then that actually the park rangers weren't strike. We hadn't really known that before. That kind of affected them close to the bathrooms and stuff like that. And I was pushing on from there, past the lake, and all the way past the middle of the W, where I saw a lot of other people, and onward to Cuernos. That night I got there, and I also ended up staying in a bunk bed again. Unfortunately, don't have footage from there, except for this, because I lost one of my old phones and some dead battery issues and all that. But basically that night, I thought I was fixing my tent outside. I actually had that booked outside, but lucky me, when I went inside, I found that they actually overbooked the fixed tents, and I'd be staying in a bunk bed again. So I didn't have to take out my own tent. So I stayed in the area there. Some people that night had booked very good dinners. There was a salmon dinner inside. That was an option. I basically had my own food to cook. So I went in a little mess hall area, cooked that, had the showers there. This is more of a big building you can expect in Los Cuernos. There was, again, the main eating hall. There was fixed tents outside the area to fix your own tent, as well as I'd say about 4 kind of showers in there. Felt similar, I'd say, to the second night maybe in Dixon, and then basically crashed that night after going to eat by the lake here. And then went to bed pretty early. So on day 6, pushing towards Chileno, I made good time. At this point in the hike, I was really feeling my body.
And I could already feel it this morning in my sleeping bag, just the aches from the Achilles area on the lower legs to the quads to just when I was stretching, I was like, oh, my body is really settling in here after 5 days of trekking, and we'll see how it goes. So a steady uphill climb here. I was told it shouldn't be too bad for like 75% of the hike, and then there really is a big incline as we get past Centro and onward to Chileno Campamento. But yeah, really interesting to see what the body is made of.
But I was also good at pushing myself past all the aches and pains, managing water. It wasn't too hot, which is nice, which is good about going the November period of time, in that springtime there.
upward, upward, upward. Just body's getting used to the repetitive motion, one foot in front of the other, regardless of how you're feeling. And the nice bird noises and the real silence, tranquility. Just not really hearing much. Nice cool morning today on day 6. Not seeing anybody on trail yet today, so I think I probably left a little bit after the early birds and before the majority of people.
I was definitely feeling my Atlas athlete here on my back. Good backpack, with any backpack you have, you're gonna feel the straps. And eventually I got there in good time. I basically checked in, as you can see here. Then I went up to this area and found my fixed tent, as you can see here.
All right, here we are in Chileno Campamento, and this is the fixed tent they already have set up for me tonight, number 25. As y'all can see in there, they do have the sleeping pads, which is nice, a little bit thicker than what I have been using over here. Right there, the orange one. And yeah, tonight is the last night here. Night 6, 6 nights, 7 days, and tonight's night 6. Tomorrow morning's the early rise, probably about 3:45ish, I'm thinking, to head up to Las Torres. I'm gonna push up, supposedly it's 2 hours. Hopefully do a little bit quicker, have maybe 2 hours up there to enjoy, fly down in like an hour and a half, maybe get some food, and then make it over to the transfer bus, get that, and then pick up my 3 p.m. bus back to Puerto Natales. So I made it here really early today to Chileno Campamento. Just gonna enjoy, go shower up now, set up camp, and just taking the sights.
And then after doing all of that, I went and grabbed a Patagonia beer, went down by the river there, and kind of chilled out, relaxed, kind of gazed up at my kind of target or objective the next morning, which was scaling up to the Laguna at Las Torres, which is the famous Las Torres, as you can see in the Patagonia hat here. Actually, no, this is in Argentina. Sorry. But you know the famous Las Torres I'm talking about? That was the objective for the next morning. So that night I would go to sleep early, about 8:30 p.m. and have my alarm clock set for the next morning about 3:30 a.m. Ready to hopefully scale up there first before anybody else, because I wanted to get up there first for the peace and quiet, also the good photos and videos, and also for a good sunrise.
All right, it's about 3 a.m. here at Chileno Campamento, and just got the bag all packed right here and headed out for the hike to Las Torres. Supposed to take at most 2 hours. I'm shooting for an hour, hour and a half. Gonna enjoy some coffee up there, get all the views, and then trot back down here, get my stuff out of the tent, check out before 9:30 a.m., maybe have a breakfast here at the hut. All right, so just got here at the base of the rock field, about to make the push up to the Mirador Las Torres here in Torresdelpaine National Park, Chilean, Patagonia. So here we go. And if my watch is about right, it's about 4 a.m. pushing to the top before sunrise. So 4:16 a.m. made it to the top right here in front of the Laguna. Gonna pop myself on this rock, maybe do a little stretching and wait for the sun to come up, get the camera ready and all that, and eventually make myself a coffee to enjoy the sunrise views here at the lake in front of Las Torres. Sitting here waiting for the sun to come up brought back some memories. It was 7 years ago where I sat right here, but that time I wasn't alone. I was with friends.
Welcome to Patagonia!
Yeah, Torresdelpaine. Yeah. And finally, here it was. Although brief, because then some clouds rolled in. But it was all worth it. So yeah, finished up the O trek in Torresdelpaine National Park in Chile last evening. And yeah, now back in Puerto Natales, so that wraps up the whole beginning here and ending here.
Hey everybody, if you really enjoyed today's video about my experience sharing with you about the day-to-day experience of the O circuit, I also think you'll enjoy these videos here. One of the videos being about the overall experience when planning trips to both Patagonias, both the Argentinian and the Chilean Patagonia, as well as the other experience here, more kind of specific about the time in Torresdelpaine National Park, a similar video to this, but also helpful, a little bit different. You'll have to do the next video. Do not forget to explore more, and I'll see you there.